we're going to work towards getting the entire leg off the chicken. So identify the leg. Notice there's kind of just a little flap of skin right there. It's the first place we want to go, and I like to kind of pull the skin kind of tight to the breast, and then I cut right up against the leg. And you'll notice if you're cutting in the right spot, there's not even any meat in here. You can everybody see how that's just an open, there's the leg, there's the breast, there's not even any meat in there. Okay, that's how you know you're in the right spot. We just kind of want to split that skin open until you cut like so. And then you're going to grab, not down here by the drumstick, but up here by the thigh. I'm actually going to hyperextend and try to get that bone to pop out of that joint. So the leg just sort of falls freely like so. The same thing on the other side. Okay, leg, we'll flap the skin, try to pull it tight to the breast, and then also cut up against the leg. As I work my way down here, there should be just skin opening up. Very nice. Again, good grip on the entire thigh. Hyperextend. Bone pops out of the joint. Now I have a very spread eagle chicken. Okay? Cool. Now I'm going to take them, flip them over, head, butt facing me. Now rumor has it, the two most tender bites, the most delicious bites on the entire chicken are called the oysters. And they're these right here. See these little nuts? Okay? Now, it's barely any meat at all. So if you miss these, it's not the end of the world. But if they are the two most delicious bites on the entire chicken, we probably want to take them off the chicken so we can eat them, right? So our next target is to shoot for these oysters right here. Again, you start at the butt, you work your way up. There's these two little mounds you see right there. I'm going to try to get them off. So to do this, I'm going to continue the cut that I made from the front. I'm just cutting through the skin here. By the way, firm boning knife is the way to go. I'm going to cut right up above the oyster. So I cut right into the little divot where the oyster begins. Now the oyster is just a little nugget of meat like this, and it's sitting in a little kind of socket like this, okay? So all we need to do is go and scoop in under that socket. Honestly, the easiest way for me to do it is I just go in with my finger, and more than anything, I just kind of try to pry it out of that socket like so. So once you've opened that up, here's the oyster right here, and there's the little cradle of the socket that was sitting in. I go with my finger, just follow the bone, kind of pry that out like this. At this point, I'm going to hold the entire chicken up by the leg, try to keep my knife nice and tight to the bird. I'm going to cut straight back, trying to remove the entire leg, drumstick, thigh, oyster. I'm going to put it on the ice, keep it nice and cold. And what we see here is oyster's now gone. There's the socket where it was attached to the bird. That's where we hyperextended, pop that socket out. We cut straight back, trying to leave as little meat on the chicken as we possibly can. Okay? Same thing to the other side. Find the other oyster, and I'm going to try to continue the cut I made from the front. And I'll find the oyster, and I'm just trying to cut just into where the little notch of the oyster begins. Go in with my finger, work on prying this guy out of that socket there. Okay, and once we get him mostly free, once again, hold the entire chicken up by the leg, keep the knife pretty tight to the bird, cut straight back. Should look very similar to the other one. And again, we see here, both oysters gone, very little meat left on the bird, legs removed. Cool?
Yes, chef.
Now, flip back over, breast facing up. If we've done everything right so far, if you look, we should still have a really full covering of skin on that breast. That's what we want, because we want to make sure it's totally covered in skin. Which is why I pulled some of the skin towards the breast when I cut the leg. Tons of skin on that. What's the name? Damn it! What's the name of the chicken breastbone? You guys remember? Keel bone. Okay. So we're gonna find the chicken breastbone, also known as the keel bone, and it doesn't matter. Pick one or the other. But start on one side of the keel bone or the other, because we're gonna remove one breast and then the other breast. It does not matter which side you do first. Okay. So pick a side, any side. Go right up against the keel bone. And this part here, this next sequence, actually reminds me a lot of taking the side off of the fish. We're basically going to go in, we're going to follow the bones, cut right along the bones, and let the skeleton tell us where to cut. Okay? So I got that little keel bone in there. I'm going to peel everything back, keeping my knife nice and tight to the skeleton. Just cutting in. Actually did such a good job, I even cut the wishbone off, so I'm going to cut that back this way. So nice and tight to the skeleton. Just trying to ride along those bones the entire time, working my way down. And then, before we remove this thing, you want to make sure that your breast and your wing are still together. Okay? And you want to look for the socket of where the entire arm is connecting to the animal. And if you find it, it's right in here. You can kind of see where it opens up. If you're in the right spot, it should be an effortless cut right through. And then the breast and the wing come off together. If you're in here like you're trying to saw through bone, honestly, backtrack it, try a millimeter or two this way. Try a little bit that way. You're probably only off by a little bit. And once you find that spot, you're gonna cut right through. Okay? So then we get the breast and the wing detached, but still very much attached to one another. Okay? And then see, right here, there's the wishbone, nice and clean, barely any meat left on the chicken. Okay? Same thing on the other side here. I'm going to try to brush the skin out of the way because I want all of it to come off on that breast. I don't really want to leave any behind if I can. I'm just going to come in now on the other side of the keel bone. I'm going to do the same thing. Right in here. I'm going to turn around so this bird's facing me. I'll try to do it another way that you can see. Okay, just follow that skeleton. No rush. Keep that knife as close to the carcass as you can. And work your way down in here. Try to wiggle around, find that joint, and when you do, again, effortless cut right through. Comes off together. Okay? And then you just take the briefest of moments, kind of evaluate your handiwork. You got a good clean cut. Now remember, I don't need to see your carcass today, so prior to bringing this whole mess of chicken up to me, the carcass can find its way straight into the, right?
Yes,
the legs and the breasts and the wings are all